Please welcome 2024 Democratic National Convention Permanent Chair, Mignon Moore, and Convention Co-Chair, Representative Veronica Escobar.
Hello, fellow Democrats. For the final season of the convention, I am more than pleased to pass the gavel to Co-Chair Representative Veronica Escobar.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The fourth season of the 49th Quadrennial National Convention of the Democratic Party will now come to order.
Please stand if you are able for this evening's invocation, offered by American Federation of Government Employees National President, Dr. Everett Kelly, and Imam Muhammad Abdul Alim.
Let us pray. Eternal God, our Father, creator of the universe, help us to rise together in unity and love. The work ahead is monumental. We must heed our call to feed the hungry, heal the sick, and comfort all who suffer. We must conquer fear, injustice, and despair. Our great democracy's foundation is our knowledge that all are equal in God's eyes, that righteous truth, your gift of freedom and equality, are being questioned once again. They're what our forefathers and mothers fought and died for. They died on battlefields, in factories, on farms and picket lines. They died in chains. They died for a better world. Beloved Creator, all this tonight, our democracy is now on the line. In the months that remain, guide Vice President Harris and Governor Walz with your wisdom and your thoughts. Eternal One, hear our prayer. Set our hearts afire that we may never weary in doing with your will in the pursuit of justice. In your Son's name, amen.
Our merciful benefactor, the Creator Redeemer, who opens the way to us to have a good conscience and life. Grant that we continue as a nation out of many one, a people of faith, taking pride in caring for our common humanity. Let us pray that this great nation inspire nations to advance social and economic progress. O God, make us among those who seek justice for all. O God, help us stand with humanity against hate. O God, bless us to approach each day for all in our great society. And finally, bless Americans to cherish our freedom and noble essence. Amen.
Amen.
Please remain standing for the presentation of colors by the Illinois State Police Honor Guard.
Detail, attention. Carry, colors. Forward. March. Left. 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 Colors. Colors turn.
Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Luna Mehring, sixth grader from Oakland, California.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Colors turn. Left. 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 Left.
She's a fighter for the American people, committed to our values, our hopes, our dreams, bringing joy back across our nation.
It's about damn time. Turn up the music. Turn down the lights.
Where did this strength and passion come from in this daughter of middle-class Oakland? Well, it started with her parents, her mother, a South Asian scientist, and her father, a black economist. They took her to civil rights marches and inspired her to pursue her dreams. After her parents divorced, she and her sister were raised by her mother with the help of friends and neighbors, attending Sunday school at the 23rd Avenue Church.
We grew up in this wonderful, loving, supportive environment.
My mother was very well aware that she was raising two black girls to be two black women.
Her mother saved up for 10 years to buy their first home and shared with Kamala the words and wisdom that remain her North Star to this day.
Be a fighter for things that matter, and don't be limited by what has always been.
And then came a moment that changed Kamala Harris's destiny, that lit the fire within.
When I was in high school, I had a best friend who I learned was being molested by her father.
This particular day, she was like, hey, you really, really are not yourself. There's something going on.
I said to her as soon as she told me, well, you have to come stay with us.
As you get older, you really, really reflect on how pivotal that intervention was at that crucial point of my life.
A big part of the reason I wanted to be a prosecutor was to protect people like her.
And on her first day in court, she rose from her chair at the prosecutor's desk and said, Kamala Harris for the people. As a prosecutor, she put violent criminals and sexual predators in prison, leading to the highest conviction rate for serious and violent crime in 15 years, and created Back on Track, a program for first-time low-level drug offenders that became a national model.
For that, yeah, you did commit a crime, accept it, own up to it, and then let's talk about what we can do to change the circumstances going forward.
Lowering recidivism rates for nonviolent offenders from 54% to 10%, giving people the training they needed to find a job after their sentence.
I remember being so struck by having a district attorney who cared both about justice, about safety and accountability, but figuring out how to stop that crime from happening again.
As California's Attorney General, she targeted transnational gangs and drug cartels, seized 10,000 kilos of cocaine and 12,000 pounds of methamphetamine, went after drug traffickers, and took 12,000 illegal guns off the streets.
The new foreclosure crisis threatens to freeze up.
She took on the nation's 5 largest mortgage banks that were stealing from homeowners.
Prosecutors claim they've duped desperate homeowners into paying thousands of dollars to get them out of foreclosure.
She played hardball and delivered a landmark $20 billion settlement.
This represents one of the largest dollar amounts to come to California.
And in 2016, the people of California sent her to represent them in Washington, D.C. In the Senate, she earned a reputation for taking on the tough fights on the Judiciary and Intelligence Committees.
Kamala hit the ground running. She came in with confidence. She was always respectful, but she would not let a witness off easily.
I wouldn't.
Yes or no?
And if an argument didn't hold water, she could spot that flaw and get at it.
I do want you to be honest.
I'm not able to be rushed this fast. It makes me nervous.
And when Joe Biden went looking for his vice president,
I wanted someone who was strong and who was ready to be president on day one.
as vice president, she worked to cap insulin costs for seniors at $35, to replace lead pipes and provide clean water for communities, and she helped create 16 million jobs.
The Biden-Harris bipartisan infrastructure bill has already created thousands of jobs for our members. That is what the future looks like under a president, Kamala Harris.
She fought to reduce the trauma of gun violence that has devastated our nation.
How many of you guys, as college students, had to have a drill during high school or middle school or elementary school where you learned about how you need to hide in a closet or crouch in a corner in the event that there is a mass shooter roaming the hallways of your school? Look at that. Look at that.
And she did more than talk the talk. She walked the walk, helping pass the first bipartisan legislation in 30 years to curb gun violence.
So one thing I learned about working with Vice President Harris is she always stand on business.
She has traveled the world to strengthen our national security and restore our global leadership, meeting with more than 150 heads of state. She stood shoulder to shoulder with our allies and stood up to dictators, helping to unite NATO behind Ukraine and impose punishing costs on Russia. She's led the fight for reproductive freedom.
We have worked too hard and fought too long to see our daughters grow up in a world with fewer rights than our mothers.
The first vice president to visit an abortion clinic, she built a nationwide grassroots movement to ensure that access to abortion, IVF, and birth control will always be protected. In the halls of power, she's a tough prosecutor, an effective policymaker, a powerful leader. And at home, she's the center of her family.
I'm not giving up.
She's the best godmother, auntie. She's honest, she's loving, incredibly reliable. She's one of the most loyal people you'll ever meet.
That is why I believe she is so prepared to be our next president. This love she has for her family, being there for all of us, that's how she will lead this country, being there for everyone.
She's a proud graduate of Harvard University.
Hey, you know
Her campaign is a force of nature, generating the excitement we've all been yearning for.
A campaign of joy, of love, of care.
I am so fundamentally inspired. Kamala Harris will be our next president because you know there's too much on the line to stay on the sidelines.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. Thank you for bringing back the joy.
Sometimes people will open the door for you and leave it open. Sometimes they won't. And then you need to kick that door down. We are not going back.
She's a protector, a strong voice for common sense, a leader for tomorrow. Committed to healing our country, dedicated to doing the hard work to make us stronger.
I now declare you spouses for life.
Someone who truly understands the struggles of everyday Americans. Forged by the challenges of the past, ready for any challenge that may arise. Now is the time, America. The joy is back, the pride is back, the hope is back. She's doing the work. She's fighting for us. She's the new way forward, our way forward. She is the next President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
Wow. Bienvenidos todos to the final night of the Democratic National Convention. We have so much in store for all of you tonight, including a special rendition of our national anthem by our favorite country music rabble-rousers, the Chicks. And I just want to say, this week, our energy, hope, and joy have inspired the nation. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has been a small man, speaking in small venues, talking about small ideas. Our ideas, our vision for America brings us together. Our vision for America embraces every community and everyone. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are working hard because they know our country is great. They know that we can build a future for all of us, and they're earning our votes by laying out a plan that puts the American dream not just within reach, but so we can fully grasp it. By making sure going to the grocery store doesn't break the bank, that we have control over our bodies, that our kids like my own kids, Christian and Eloisa, have opportunities to lead healthy and happy lives. We'll get to know Kamala a little more, and I promise you, you will not only be more inspired, but also ready to fight for a new way forward. And to keep us pumped for this journey, Chicago's very own DJ Metro. Over to you.
Chicago, how's everybody feeling out there today? Welcome to night 4 of the Democratic National Convention. I know you all are having so much fun out there, is that correct? Well, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to make sure that the fun continues right here, right now, the only way that I know how. The Chicago way, baby. Y'all ready? Let's go. Thank you.
You my little boo thing, so I'll give a hoop what you do. Say, girl, I know you a little too tame. I'll be shooting that shot like girl. No, tell 'em I'm next. Tell 'em you find a lot of something fresh. No, tell 'em I'm next. Tell 'em you find a little something fresh. I know. Put a little gold in the teeth and the fit good, so I took the doors off the beat. Okay, I see a brother holding you foot, no beef, but I'm trying to get to know you at least. Don't take my talking to your own. I can keep it chill like the Soviet blunt. I'ma keep it real when your man long gone. If you're looking for a friend,
everybody hands up, hands up.
What's good? picture. If you book tonight, that's fiction. I'm outside, no picture. You want me, go figure. To the back, to the front. You a 10, baby girl, but I know one. Hey, to the back,
One time,
to the front.
everybody,
You a 10,
hands
baby girl,
up
but
in
I
the
know
air,
one.
let's go.
You my little boo thing, so I'll give a hoot what you do. Say, girl, I know you a little too tame. I'll be shooting that shot like 2K, girl, I know. Tell 'em I'm next. Tell 'em you find a little something from me, I know. Tell 'em I'm next. Tell 'em you find a little
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Please welcome National Education Association President Becky Pringle and American Federation of Teachers President Randy Weingarten.
I am Becky Pringle, President of the largest labor union in this country, the National Education Association. As an 8th grade science teacher for over 30 years, I can tell you that Kamala Harris and teacher Tim Walz understand when our public schools are strong, our nation is strong. They know expanding free school meals, investing in healthcare, and keeping our communities and our schools safe creates opportunity for everyone. They will strengthen our schools, support our educators, and help our students live into their brilliance. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are not just wrong, they're dangerous. It's all right there in Project 2025. They will shut down the Department of Education, end Head Start, and make educators pay a higher percentage in taxes than billionaires. But we are coming together to say, not on our watch. Not on our watch. So we will organize, and we will mobilize, and we will win all the things. So come this January, we will have a president who sees us, who believes in us, and who knows the beauty and the power of this diverse democracy. And her name is Kamala Harris.
I'm Randy Weingarten, the president of the AFT and a public school teacher. One of my first lessons I taught my students was about the social contract, how both individual freedoms and mutual responsibility are essential in our democracy. This covenant underlies our commitment to public schools, where educators prepare students to spark innovations, steward the environment, create our arts, and shape our democracy. Now, one of the first lessons my students taught me was, you gotta walk the walk. That means Donald Trump and J.D. Vance can't claim they're pro-child while gutting funding for public schools. That means that being pro-family means we support access to good union jobs, affordable housing, healthcare, and higher education. That's what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz are fighting for, and we are all in. They've spent their lives making the promise of America real in the classroom and the courtroom. America, with Kamala Harris as our president, our best days are ahead.
Please welcome California Senator Alex Padilla.
Good evening, Democrats. Buenas noches, demócratas. My name is Alex Padilla, and I am so proud to represent the great state of California in the United States Senate. But the titles I'm most proud of are husband to my beautiful wife, Angela, and father to 3 young gentlemen. You know, as a father, when we talk about the future of our country, it's not just hypothetical. For me, it is very real. Every day I go to work in Washington, I think about my kids and the future we're building for their generation. And to show you how Kamala Harris will treat America's kids as president, I'll tell you how she treats mine. Because whenever she sees Roman, Alejandro, and Diego, she greets them with kindness and respect, literally meeting them on their level, to speak to them and to listen. And every fight that Kamala and I have taken on together has been about making life better for this generation and the next. As a state senator, I stood with then Attorney General Harris as she took on the big banks to keep kids and their families in their homes. As California's Secretary of State, I knew her as a fearless United States Senator and my partner in defending our sacred right to vote. That's right. And when Kamala became vice president, I was honored to fill her seat. But I knew that I had some big Chuck Taylors to fill. But I was proud to carry on legislation that she championed to protect workers, to safeguard public lands, to provide kids with more access to quality education. You see, Kamala and I believe that all of our kids deserve a shot at the American dream. It's the American dream, after all, that brought my parents to the United States decades ago. Es cierto. Mis padres, Santos y Guadalupe Padilla, vinieron a los Estados Unidos en busca del sueño americano. But today, we know that the dream is out of reach for far too many families. So my question for all of you tonight is this. This November, who's ready to defend the dream? ¿Quién está listo a defender el sueño americano? Tim Walz is ready to defend the dream. Kamala Harris will defend the dream. And between now and Election Day, each of us must defend the dream too, by working to elect them as Vice President and President of the United States of America. So I want to thank you. May God bless you. Now let's go win this thing.
For families across our nation, the American dream starts at the same place, the place we call home. A home is more than four walls and a roof. It's the foundation of everything we hope for, the bedrock from which we build our own American dreams and write our own American stories. To share Kamala's vision to give more Americans a place to call home, please welcome former Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Marcia Fudge.
OH. Kamala Harris has fought to protect homeowners and renters her entire career. As Attorney General, she held big banks accountable for their role in the foreclosure crisis and won billions of dollars for California homeowners. As Vice President, she and President Biden helped over 400,000 homeowners at the risk of foreclosure during the pandemic. And as President, she will build 3 million new homes and rentals, limit unfair rent increases, and offer down payment support for first-time home buyers. It's personal. Kamala remembers her mother's pride at buying their first home after saving for 10 years. She knows housing is a human right and a pathway to the middle class. Where you live determines what schools your children go to, what health care you receive, and whether you can get a good job without spending hours commuting. Where you live too often determines how you live. Donald Trump has no idea how housing works for everyday Americans. He doesn't care. He started his career being sued for denying housing to Black families. As president, he sat by while the cost of housing skyrocketed. Now, we can hand the keys to our housing policy back to a negligent landlord, or we can elect a president who believes in safe, affordable housing for all. Let's ensure we have an opportunity economy by voting for Kamala Harris. Thank you.
Don't know why, but I feel like
I'm Matt, and I'm a former Trump voter.
Hi, my name is Dave from Pennsylvania. I'm a two-time Trump voter, 2016 and 2020.
I voted for Trump before, but I'm not going to do that again. I think his agenda has really been awful for America.
He doesn't care about ordinary people. He's never been one, never known any.
I'm extremely worried about Donald Trump getting into the White House again.
People are working. All these people who weren't working under the Trump administration, they now have jobs.
One thing I like about Kamala Harris is she talks about the issues. She talks about the economy. She talks about women's rights.
I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris.
Please welcome California Representative Ted Lieu.
As a computer science major, I am so impressed with how large this AI-generated crowd looks tonight. I first got to know Kamala Harris during the Great Recession when I was a California state legislator. Millions of hardworking families were facing foreclosure. My constituents told me stories about predatory and unfair loan terms and about how hard they were fighting to keep the homes that they loved. Thankfully, they had someone fighting just as hard for them, Attorney General Kamala Harris. She led an investigation of the mortgage industry to root out fraud. She helped pass the Homeowners Bill of Rights, and she held the big banks accountable, bringing back $20 billion to homeowners. Since those days, I've seen her continue to fight for affordable housing as vice president, and as president, she's going to cut red tape so we can build more houses, help new homeowners afford a down payment, and take on corporations that unfairly hike up rent. Kamala Harris fights for affordable housing because she gets it. You know, when her mom was raising 2 girls, she did what so many parents do: work early hours and work late nights, pay the bills, and put on a brave face so her girls did not know how hard it really was. It shouldn't be this hard in America, and President Kamala Harris will make sure it's not. She'll fight to lower housing costs so that everyone, everywhere, can find a place to call home.
Don't know why, but I feel like
I depend on Medicare and Social Security for survival.
I'm a recipient of Social Security benefits.
I worry about Social Security and Medicare.
If we don't protect it through Kamala Harris, that Trump is going to take that money.
Project 2025 is going to be disastrous for many of us.
What are we supposed to do? Who's going to take care of us? Where are we going to live? I don't know, but I know I'm voting Democrat.
I'm supporting Vice President Harris because she will protect my Social Security and that of all others.
Please welcome Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin.
Hello, Democrats. And hey, Wisconsin. Tonight, I want to talk about family. We know that all families don't look alike. My mother was a teenager when I was born, and she struggled with addiction. I never met my father, but I had 2 incredible grandparents who stepped in and raised me, David and Doris Green. Everything I know, I learned from them. In every way a child needs, my grandparents were there for me. And as they grew older, it was my privilege to be there for them. So when I work to protect Medicare and Social Security, I do it with a personal knowledge of what those big programs meant in small but deeply meaningful ways to my grandparents. And I know what they mean for your parents and grandparents. But let's be clear, that is all at risk today. Donald Trump was asked what he would do about Social Security and Medicare, and he said, and I quote, "There's a lot you can do in terms of cutting." Cutting? He's talking about cutting Social Security and Medicare while giving a huge new tax break to billionaires and corporations? Well, Kamala Harris is not going to let that happen. And Tim Walz is not going to let that happen. We are not going to let that happen. You know, they've got it backwards. We Democrats, we honor our elders, and ask the wealthiest to pay their fair share. Wisconsin's state motto is forward, and my friends, that's where we're headed.
Please welcome Massachusetts Representative Catherine Clark.
I am a proud mom of 3. And when my kids were young, I sat down with my husband to go over our bills. We realized that my entire income went to paying for childcare. We asked ourselves, how on earth will we make this work? So many parents will tell you a similar story. They'll tell you that preschool can cost as much as rent, or that they drive over an hour just to find childcare. They'll tell you that the workers who watch their children have it even worse. When parents have to choose between their kids and their jobs, businesses are hurt too. We shut out talent. We lose the prosperity parents could create. Childcare makes our economy run. And yet, Donald Trump's Project 2025 will eliminate Head Start, close classrooms, raise the cost of care. And J.D. Vance says affordable childcare is class war against normal people. You know what normal people want? A president who understands this shouldn't be so damn hard. That's Kamala Harris. She's seen this firsthand. You've all heard Kamala talk about her mother. She was both a brilliant scientist and a devoted mom. She had to fight to make it all work, to raise her daughters, to pay the bills, to keep the career she loved. Kamala and Tim know that when everyone can find and afford childcare, our kids and our communities will thrive. Our middle class will grow. So let's put childcare at the top of the agenda. Let's build a future worthy of our children. Let's elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz.
Please welcome Colorado Representative Joe Neguse.
Thank you. Good evening, Chicago. My name is Joe Neguse, and I represent the great state of Colorado in the U.S. Congress. My parents immigrated here from a place torn apart by war. They worked hard every day, made tremendous sacrifices, and taught me to never take for granted the educational opportunities that we have in this incredible country. It's because of them and because of those opportunities that tonight their son stands before you as Assistant Democratic Leader of the U.S. House of Representatives. My fellow Americans, let me say this clearly. Don't let anyone tell you that the American dream is dead. It is alive and well, and it will grow even stronger with Kamala Harris as the next president of the United States. How do we know that? How do I know that? Well, it's because Kamala Harris believes that college can be a ticket to the middle class, and she has fought to make it more affordable her entire career. As California Attorney General, she took down one of the biggest for-profit colleges, securing $1 billion, $1 billion for students who were defrauded. Alongside President Biden, she expanded Pell Grants and secured record funding for HBCUs. And Kamala Harris made public service loan relief a reality for teachers and first responders and firefighters and nurses and countless others across our land. Vice President Harris delivered before, and she will do it again. As president, she will build a brighter future, a more affordable future, a future where going to college doesn't break the bank, a future where my 5-year-old daughter, Natalie, who's watching us back home in Colorado right now, a future where she can live her dreams. So those are the stakes. Let's make it happen, America. Let's make history, America. Let's elect Kamala Harris, the 47th President of the United States. Thanks so much. God bless. Thank you.
I basically worked in public service my entire adulthood, over 27 years.
Seeing my mom work in the public service sector, it was actually inspiring me, and I'm like, she gives more to the community than she is for her own self.
As a single mother, I knew I wanted my daughters to have a better life than I did. So I said, you know, going to school will help me.
I would see her move like the bills to the side, but I know she was mounting. I know she was drowning in student loan debt.
Then eventually my loans got to $800 a month. I paid it. I did what I was supposed to do. But I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be in debt until the day I die.
When the Biden-Harris administration first announced the public service loan forgiveness, and I'm rushing to my mom, like, apply for this, apply for this.
I'm sitting at my desk, opening up my mail. It says, thank you, Kelly, for public service. Your loans now have been forgiven. Took a deep breath, and I screamed. I had to pinch myself. I had to see if this was really happening.
Seeing my mom finish her higher education was life-changing. I don't think anything can ever stop me from my goals, because I saw her do it as a single parent with twin girls, with life pushing her down so many ways, but she continued to rise up. She has been the force, the motivation for me to want to continue to work in the public service agency.
With this loan forgiveness, I can plan for my future. I was able to purchase my very first home. It creates great opportunity for my daughters. It creates stability. Thank you, Vice President Harris and the entire administration. I just want to thank you again and again and again. Thank you so much.
Our party's not over, Chicago! Let me see you just rock with me once.
This hit that ice cold, Michelle fight for that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls, straight nasty. Styling, wildin', living it up in the city. Got Chuck's on with Saint Laurent, gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty.
I'm too what?
I'm too hot. Call the police and the fireman, I'm too hot. Make a dragon wanna retire, man, I'm too hot. Say my name, you know who I am, I'm too hot. And my band back there.
Everybody just clap.
Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Girls hit you, hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown
All right, Chicago, let me see you just. Don't believe it, just rock. Come on.
Don't believe me, just watch. 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 Hey, hey,
Anybody here ready to have a great time with me tonight? Let me hear you make some noise. I'm DJ Metro from Chicago. Let's go. again. I'm DJ Metro. I'll be back for more later.
Please welcome Durham, North Carolina Mayor Leonardo Williams.
Hailing from the Tar Heel State, home of Duke University and North Carolina Central University, I am Mayor Leonardo Williams from Durham, North Carolina. You know, several years ago, my wife Zweli and I started cooking for our community. We drove to schools, doctors' offices, just to give out a few samples. And eventually our friends asked, "Where's the restaurant, y'all?" But you know, it takes capital. It takes capital to chase a dream. And during the Trump administration, they did not make it easy. Not for folks like us. So what I thought was, I guess not everybody can have a multi-million-dollar loan from their father. So I'll tell you what we did. We emptied our savings, and in 2008, we launched Zweli's Kitchen, America's first Zimbabwean restaurant. And the Biden-Harris administration helped make that a reality. They helped make that dream come true for entrepreneurs like us. Now, thanks to small business grants and all of the help that we received from them, we now have 3 locations, and we employ nearly 30 employees with a living wage. But we are not alone. Under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, more than 500,000 business applications have been filed in North Carolina. Kamala Harris is fighting to create an opportunity economy that can break down barriers for entrepreneurs like us. And as president, she will support risk takers and problem solvers who want to just do their part and claim their piece of the American dream. And also, I want to thank Maya from Nevada, who has served her famous dumplings for the past 3 years and opened new locations thanks to the historic support for small businesses. And Robert, I want to thank you from Minnesota. Robert owns a solar business, heated up once by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They passed the Inflation Reduction Act. And Paul from Arizona. Paul, who's a commercial cleaning company, landed huge contracts thanks to the Biden-Harris manufacturing boom. So Kamala Harris knows. She knows entrepreneurs like these. She knows that we are the backbone of our community. And when they succeed, we all succeed. Let's win this. Thank you.
Please welcome Illinois Representative Raja Krishnamurthy.
America Against America. It's the title of a book by one of China's highest-ranking leaders, and it's how they think they'll win. They know the only way they'll beat America is if we beat ourselves. In Congress, my job is to study China's economy. And mark my words, they want to see Donald Trump across the bargaining table, because he'll start endless trade wars that raise prices for Americans, because he'll cut programs that train workers in America. But most of all, Trump will pit American against American. And that's what China wants, for us to fight amongst ourselves, because that's how we lose. But we're not going back. What does Kamala Harris tell us? When we fight, we win. Because Kamala Harris knows we fight best, not American against American. She knows that when we fight as one country, we win. When we fight as one team, we win. Which is why when Kamala Harris wins in November, we win. Thank you so much.
We believe in a future where every person has the opportunity to build a business, to own a home, to build intergenerational wealth, a future with affordable health care, affordable child care, paid leave, and all of this is to say, building up the middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency.
Please welcome Pennsylvania Senator Bob Casey.
Pennsylvania. Here's a real question. Moms asked me in Pennsylvania, what am I supposed to do if I can't afford diapers? In just 6 months, a box of diapers went up $15. The corporations say your prices are up only because their costs are up. They're selling you a lie. It's in the bag with the diapers. Prices are up because these corporations are scheming to drive them up. Most companies are good companies. It's the food conglomerates that sit behind the supermarkets, the faceless wholesalers. They're the ones who are extorting families at the checkout counter. This is greedflation. I've been fighting it a long time. So has Kamala Harris. And finally, we're starting to win. When Big Pharma jacked up the cost of insulin, we passed a bill to stop them. Now, for millions of Americans, it's capped at $35 a month. So that's one. I've been fighting to ban price gouging on food. And next year, when she's president, Kamala Harris will sign a bill to do just that. So that's another. And when corporations take advantage of a crisis, like toilet paper during the pandemic, we'll hit them with harsher fines when Kamala Harris is president. Now, Americans don't expect stuff to be free, but we do expect it to be fair. The people I'm talking to, from Allentown to Erie, they don't tolerate being ripped off. Americans are hardworking, honest people. And that's what we've been fighting for. We're fighting for honesty. I'm fighting for it. Kamala Harris is fighting for it. Will you fight for it? All right, let's go out and win this thing. Thank you.
Please welcome Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren.
best about Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris can't be bought, and she can't be bossed around. Now, I first met Kamala in the aftermath of the 2008 financial crash. The banks had flat out broken laws, cheated people, and stolen homes. Millions of Americans had lost their jobs, their savings, their homes. Now, I was setting up the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Go CFPB! Kamala was protecting families as California's Attorney General. You bet. And Donald was scamming students at Trump University and trying to make money off people losing their homes. Kamala Harris stepped up. She enforced the law, she fought the giant banks, and she delivered billions of dollars of help for families. And that is the difference between a criminal and a prosecutor. You know what else I love about Kamala? She gets it. We need to make life more affordable for working people. Yeah. Donald Trump, the felon, has no plans to lower costs for families. He doesn't know how, and basically, he doesn't really care. When did he ever fill up a gas tank or worry about a grocery bill? The only bills he worries about are from his criminal defense lawyers. But Kamala, she cares deep down, and she will take on the giant corporations that are squeezing American families. In fact, it's something she's done before. During the California wildfires, she went after the price gougers. During the pandemic, we worked together in the Senate to stop price gouging. And as president, she will lower costs for your family. She'll take on the Wall Street firms that buy up millions of houses and apartments and then jack up the rent. She'll take on drug companies that charge an arm and a leg for prescriptions. She'll take on corporate monopolies that rip off consumers and billionaires who don't pay taxes. And she'll take on right-wing extremists who think they should decide who has access to abortion or IVF. Kamala will protect abortion rights nationwide. Yeah. And there it is. Groceries, gas, housing, healthcare, taxes, abortion. Trust Donald Trump and JD Vance to look out for your family? Shoot, I wouldn't let those guys, I wouldn't trust them to move my couch. We need Kamala Harris. This election is about your family and your future. I've seen Kamala Harris fight. I've seen her win. And when it comes to our families and our futures, Kamala Harris is someone we can trust. So here it is, with joy in our hearts. Let's elect Kamala Harris, the next president of the United States.
party is nowhere near over, Chicago! We're gonna do this real big because we got a good feeling about this presidency. Now let me see your hands up one time.
I got a feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be a good, good night. Feeling that tonight's gonna be a good night. That tonight's gonna be
I want to see everybody losing their minds. 1, 2, now everybody push.
Tonight's the night. Let's live it up. I got my money. Let's spin it up. Go out and smash it. Like, oh my God. Jump out that sofa. Let's kick it off.
I know that we'll have a ball if we get down and go out and just lose it all. I feel stressed out, I wanna let it go. Let's go way out, spaced out, and losing our control.
Fill up my cup. Now go talk. Look at her dancing. Just take it up, 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 up.
Let me hear you shut down. Come on. Because in this nation, we're all one big family. Let me see.
A celebration to last throughout the years. So bring your good times and your laughter too. We gon' celebrate your party with you. Come on now. Celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Celebration. We gon' celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you guys in just a little while. Thank you.
Woo! We've got ourselves a party in here, Chicago. All right, Democrats, we know that a secure future depends on strong global leadership. As Vice President, Kamala Harris has been tested on the world stage. She's faced down threats, stood shoulder to shoulder with our allies, and engaged in the serious work of safeguarding America's security. Please welcome to the stage an Army Ranger, my colleague, Congressman Jason Crow.
Before serving in Congress, I was a paratrooper and an Army Ranger. Over 100 combat missions in Iraq and Afghanistan taught me what really makes America strong and secure. You see, it's not tough talk, it's not chest thumping, because in war, talk is cheap. And trust me, I know a couch commando when I see one. Real strength and security come from our people, from our allies. Donald Trump's Project 2025 would abandon our troops, abandon our veterans, our allies, and our principles. In Chapter 4, Trump plans to do Putin's bidding by abandoning Ukraine and walking away from our NATO allies.
In chapters 2 and 3, he plans to fire our national security and military professionals and then replace them with MAGA loyalists. But I refuse to let Trump's golf buddies decide when and how our friends are sent to war. When we join the military, we raise our right hand and we take the oath. We know that it comes with sacrifice, but we also know that it comes with a promise that America will have our back. Trump will break that promise. In fact, in Chapter 20 of Project 2025, he plans to slash veterans' benefits and then privatize VA healthcare. As a paratrooper, we learned that the leader of the unit jumps first, and then the others follow. Leaders always go first. But Trump, he would push your son or daughter out of the plane and then abandon them when they come home. Our troops deserve a commander-in-chief who will always have their back. That leader is Kamala Harris. And together, we will make Kamala Harris our next commander-in-chief.
President Joe Biden and I, along with our entire country, are grateful, deeply grateful to each and every one of you for your service and for your excellence. The United States military, without any question, is the strongest and best fighting force the world has ever seen. And that is because of you, each one of you.
Please welcome Michigan Representative Alyssa Slotkin.
Good evening. I'm Alyssa Slotkin. I am honored to be your U.S. Senate nominee from the great state of Michigan. Go blue, go green, my peeps from Michigan. My life in service began in New York City on September 11th. As the smoke cleared, I knew my career would be spent protecting the country we all love. I was recruited by the CIA and served 3 tours in Iraq alongside our military. And I worked at the White House under presidents of both parties and as an acting Assistant Secretary of Defense under President Obama. I want to talk tonight about national security because the choice in November is stark. America retreating from the world or leading the world. Trump wants to take us backwards. He admires dictators a lot. He treats our friends as adversaries and our adversaries as friends. But our vision is based on our values, the values that took us to the shores of Normandy and helped us win the Cold War. We believe America should inspire and lead at home and abroad. We recognize that it's not just about having a strong military, but about tackling global challenges like AI and climate change together. And guess what? That takes friends. You gotta have friends to do that. Vice President Harris understands our strength abroad is inextricably linked to our strength here at home. Our schools, a strong middle class, and the health of our democracy. So, for everyone here and everyone watching, I want you to proudly claim your patriotism. You are here because you love your country. Do not give an inch to pretenders who wrap themselves in the flag, but spit in the face of freedoms it represents. this November, let's elect a president who will lean forward to embrace the future. Because America doesn't follow. We do not retreat. We are the damn United States of America. We lead.
Please welcome New York Representative Pat Ryan.
Among the Americans I proudly represent in Congress are the 4,400 cadets at West Point, my alma mater. Last year, I welcomed Vice President Harris when she delivered the commencement address. I watched as she shook the hand of every single cadet. That's the thing about West Point. The day you take the oath to defend our country, you get to look the person in the eye who may one day, God forbid, send you to war and take their measure. And every time, Kamala Harris looked back with respect, with reverence. That day, I saw our next Commander-in-Chief. At West Point, you learn the honor code. A cadet will not lie, cheat, steal, or tolerate those who do. Well, there's a candidate who has violated every word in that code. A serial liar, cheater, thief, who looked soldiers in the eye, then turned around and called fallen heroes suckers and losers, who insulted Medal of Honor recipients just last week. I tell you what I think of Donald Trump. They told me I can't say that word on TV. I'm gonna use an Army term, FUBAR. If you don't know FUBAR, Google it. These last few weeks have felt like a new day in America, when we are waking up, rising up as patriots to demand our next president be someone who not only treats our veterans with respect, but everyone with respect, with dignity, with decency, with the truth. Someone like Kamala Harris, our next Commander-in-Chief.
We are not done. I'm trying to tell you guys that I want to see you up off your seats, dancing and moving around. Get excited with me and say,
I see I'm too late. Got nothing in my brain. That's what people say. That's what people say. I go on too many dates, but I can't make them stay. At least that's what people say. That's what people say. But I keep cruising. Can't stop, won't stop moving. It's like I got this music in my mind saying it's gonna be alright. 'Cause the player's gonna play, 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 play. And the haters gonna hate, 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 baby. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake. Shake it off, shake it off. Breakers gonna break, 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 break. And the fakers gonna fake, 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 baby. I'm just gonna shake, 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 shake.
Wait.
Shake it off, shake it off.
Hold on.
Come and move that in my direction. So thankful for that.
Representando para mi latino aquí conmigo esta noche.
Yeah. Oh, you are my sunrise on the darkest day. got me feeling some kind of way. Make me wanna savor every moment slowly, slowly. Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuello despacito. Deja que te diga cosas al oído, para que te acuerdes si no estás conmigo. Despacito, quiero desnudarte a besos despacito. Firma las paredes de tu laberinto y hacer de tu cuerpo todo un manuscrito.
Quiero ver bailar tu pelo, quiero ser tu ritmo. Que le enseñes a mi boca tus lugares favoritos.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, I'm DJ Metro, and I'll be back.
Please welcome the president of the National Action Network, Reverend Al Sharpton.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good evening. I stand before you as the president of National Action Network. We do not endorse candidates, but we report where candidates stand on criminal justice, economic empowerment, health equity, and other issues. On one side of this race is Donald Trump, a fellow New Yorker I've known for 40 years. Only once in that time, did he take a position on racial issues. He spent a small fortune on full-page ads calling for the execution of 5 innocent young teenagers. Well, I'm gonna bring them out in a minute, and you'll hear from them tonight. Because they were not executed, they're here to continue to fight. But it was there that I saw Trump love to fan racial flames. On the other side is a woman that I've walked with in Selma, Alabama to commemorate the 59th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. Kamala Harris spoke to me that day about unity and passing bills. All I ever heard from Donald Trump was how he can get an advantage. I see one candidate who wants to protect the right to vote, while the other has tried to cook up 11,000 votes in Georgia. I see a candidate who, with Joe Biden, brought leaders to the White House to confront violent hatred, running against a man who said neo-Nazis in Charlottesville were fine people. I see a candidate who has sought to reform and uphold the law, and a man who wrongly assumes his mugshot appeals to Black Americans. I've worked with Kamala Harris. In every job she's had, she has consistently committed to making government work for those of us who've been disadvantaged. All Donald Trump has been consistent about is making himself richer and sowing division to get that done. This man sat right here in Chicago a few weeks ago, refusing to apologize for claims that migrants were taking Black jobs. Well, in November, we're gonna show him when Blacks do their job. And we are going to join with whites and browns and Asians, and we're going to do a job on those that have done a job on us. Tonight, we are going to realize Shirley Chisholm's dream. 52 years ago, I was one of the youth directors in her campaign for president. And 52 years after she was told to sit down, I know she's watching us tonight as a black woman stands up to accept the nomination for President of the United States. We have fought too hard for women to be told to get out of the kitchen. We are now on our way to the Oval Office. We won't go back. We fought hard. We fought hard for LGBTQ loved ones to get out the closet. We won't go back. We fought hard for the right to choose, the right to education. We suffered and died and bled, went to jail to get the right to vote. We won't go back. So we must be committed, no matter how the Supreme Court tries to roll back on civil rights, no matter what the amount of money they have. We are here because others fought and suffered for us, and we vowed tonight we won't go back. This November, we will go forward to fulfill the promise of a just and fair nation. And let me say, as we transition, I'm a preacher. And in Psalms it says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. We've endured January 6th. We've endured conspiracy theories. We've endured lies and areas of darkness. But if we